Let's go to Napier, where something of a drought ended yesterday, which meant the scheduled Chappell-Hadlee one-day international cricket match at McLean Park never even got to a start. Punters waited for 5 hours in vain after rain fell in the morning and the early afternoon until eventually the match was abandoned. New Zealand Cricket has now launched an inquiry and will look at whether McLean Park is fit to host future internationals. I asked Napier Mayor Bill Dalton if the park's outfield is predisposed to being a little bit boggy.
No, that's too big a jump to make. The fact is, we are looking at this. I mean, no one's more disappointed about this whole thing than the Napier City Council, I can assure you. And we're really disappointed for our people. But the fact is, we're not going to leap to conclusions until we've had a good look at it. We've had a high-level meeting with with New Zealand Cricket.
You're having a high-level meeting with Radio New Zealand now.
I know.
That's excellent. So you've had a high-level meeting with New Zealand Cricket.
Yep, and we have agreed to do a full investigation around the whole park. They're wanting to work with us. New Zealand Cricket is determined to continue using Napier because they know how good it is.
It's a lovely venue. It's a lovely venue. But in fact, yesterday evening was one of those days in Napier where you're just really happy to be there, right? The sea was sparkling, the sun was shining, and they couldn't play cricket.
Well, that's absolutely untrue. The sea was sparkling, no question, but the sun wasn't shining. And what happened was it rained from about 8:30 until somewhere around 2 o'clock. Now, sure, it wasn't huge amounts of rain. You must realise that this is a sand-based park, and you have to water a sand-based park, the grass on it, otherwise it simply burns off and dries, or dries off and burns. And so we had over 40 days of no rain, and look, luck would have it, and the rumour around town is that federated farmers are actually paying New Zealand Cricket to come to Hawke's Bay so that it'll rain. And the situation was that we had drizzly rain. When the rain stopped, there was not 1 ounce of drying in the air. There was very little wind, and you could actually still feel moisture in the air. So there was no natural drying in the air at all. I'm not saying what the problem was because as yet we haven't determined what the problem is. But certainly you can rest assured that we're working with New Zealand Cricket to get to the bottom of it.
But Bill, you are doing a fantastic job of defending your patch, and I know that it's important to you that you get the games here, the cricket games here, and the All Blacks have played there too previously, and also, you'd like some more Super Rugby games and all of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is that it's my sense, and I'm not having a go, but it's my sense that Eden Park or Seddon Park or Hadlee would have dried yesterday afternoon and there would have been cricket. There's something about the outfield there that makes it particularly susceptible, isn't there?
Well, if that is the case, then that will be determined by this investigation between New Zealand Cricket and our own staff. I mean, we've got a world-class groundsman who has prepared a wicket that has given us some absolute world-class games over the years. Yesterday was a big disappointment. We need to know why.
What do you say to the punters? Obviously, you want them to come back.
Oh, absolutely we do. I mean, this was one game that turned out to be a bit of a disaster. The fact is, we have for many years put on some absolute top-level games of cricket, and I was one of the punters who sat there for 5 hours waiting for the cricket to start yesterday, and I can sympathise with everyone. The fact is, we will get it right, rest assured.
What's the weather like now, Bill?
The weather is hot as hell, blowing a gale, and would have dried the park in about 10 minutes yesterday.
Isn't that Murphy's Law? Bill Dalton, the Mayor of Napier.